Thanks everybody for joining. Welcome to Advanced B2B webinar about how to grow your business with your website. I have a pleasure to introduce our guest speaker, Mikko Seppä. Mikko is the co-founder of HeadQ and also co-founder of Advanced B2B. So we do share a bit of common history with Mikko. Mikko, super happy to have you here and welcome.
Thanks for inviting. It's nice to be here.
Cool. And my name is also Mikko. I come from Advanced B2B. We are a HubSpot Diamond partner agency and also growth marketing agency located here in Helsinki, Finland. And I've been with the company 3 years now. I started as HubSpot consultant, and before that, I've been working a lot with marketing technology, managing CRM systems, websites, marketing automation tools, all that throughout my career. So that's where I'm coming from. And actually, I have one funny fact to share. Now, you might be thinking that you are sitting in a webinar with two Mikkos, but that is not true, because actually behind the scenes, we have a third person with us today. We have Serena managing the webinar and making sure that everything runs smoothly. And last year in Advanced B2B Christmas party, Serena was nominated to be the Mikko of the year. So in fact, it's not a webinar of two Mikkos, but it's a webinar of 3 Mikkos. And thanks, Serena, for letting me to share this important fact to the world. And with that said, I think we can cut the introductions and get to the actual point. Housekeeping first in 10 seconds. We record this webinar. It means that you will be able to get the recording. If you have any questions at any point, just put them in the chat, and then we'll do our best to take them in the end of the webinar. Yeah, hey, let's enjoy, have some fun, and a bit more in detail what we are going to talk about today. We have 45 minutes in total, and we start by discussing what role does your website play in your growth, and how can you really optimize for that. That's the first part that takes approximately 20-25 minutes. And thank you for everybody who provided your website URL in the submission to this webinar. So we are providing some live consultation to some of the websites. Unfortunately, we don't have time to take all of them because we received quite a few requests. But don't worry, if you still want to receive a consultation to your website, we can do that. We can send you information about how to do that after this webinar. But we do have around 3 or 4 websites I think we have time to take in the end of the webinar and provide some tips how you can improve those websites for better growth. In the end, question and answers. All right. With that said, I'm going to hand it over to you, Mikko.
Thanks. All right. So let me put it here. Okay. So the first question that I'm going to open up with today is that, are you selling the way your customers want to buy? That's effectively the biggest question that is facing B2B companies today in this changing environment where, B2B buyers are more empowered than ever. They're expecting different level of experiences from their, first interactions with the company and how they then move on to initially then obviously move and form some kind of partnership. So that is the crucial part and the crucial question to understand. Are you selling the way your customers want to buy? And this is a quite cool study that I found. It was the Future of Sales Research report by Gartner. And in that, they said, predicted is probably the right word, that by 2025, 80% of all B2B sales interactions between the suppliers and buyers will occur in digital channels. I know that for a lot of, let's say, low touch, no touch B2B SaaS products and companies, this might sound like obvious because it already does so. But if you take, let's say, a bit bigger view and think about like all of the kind of big variety of B2B companies and different kind of sales models that there are, and actually that turning and switching into this kind of model where, let's say, majority of the B2B sales interactions happen in digital channels, that's a huge shift. And that shift is going to be something that most companies will face during the next 2 to 3 years. And I feel that not all companies are well prepared for this. And that's why there's going to be plenty of super good examples from Mikko's part today. So please pay attention on that. But I wanted to share you this one example of like, if 80% of B2B sales interaction will go to the digital channels, so which kind of companies are the ones that are going to be mostly affected by this change? So you could basically draw a basic 2x2 with this. So the first one would be, the first axis would be the complexity of product and service. So if it's fairly low complexity, meaning something that it's easy to understand, you buy it every single day, well, not basically every single day, but every now and then, frequently, then it's like low complexity. On the other hand, high complexity probably means something that it takes a bit of time to understand. It's not clear to all of the buyers, so you probably don't buy that kind of stuff every now and then. It's more or less, let's say, once in a 5 years or something like that. And on the other axis, if you take the complexity of the buyer dynamic, the low complexity in the buyer dynamic obviously means that you're buying something for yourself or something for your team. So something that is for a small group of people. It might be a small even for a smaller company, but there is less people involved in the buying decision-making process. There doesn't need to be, people who do the research, people who waiting their own opinion, and then like executive committee making the decision, or even like board level stuff. So the bigger the complexity gets, so more people there are involved, obviously the sales become more of a consultation driven. So if you take these 4 different kind of approaches to sales, you're going to quickly see that the order takers are in the risk of being substituted with the digital channels. And this is the part that's going to be mainly digital self-service. So people buying the stuff on their own. But also some parts of the what Forrester here calls explainers and navigators will be also basically affected by this change. So what I'm urging you right now to think is that how are we selling our products and services? What's the level of complexity of the product? So do people really understand what they're buying? How familiar they are with the problem and then the solution side? And then what's the kind of buyer dynamic in their end? So is there a person who can buy it by themselves, or even like talk to their colleague or CEO and get approval and they are ready to go? Or do they need a big committee and there's like 10 to 20 people involved? So that's the question that I'd like to point here. Well, Gartner found that 77% of B2B buyers stated that their latest purchase was very complex or difficult. Basically meaning that buyers are not happy with the buying experiences that they're getting. And this obviously is not definitely a good news. And we know that B2B companies make the buying from them unnecessarily difficult. And we do this by many different ways. First of all, we don't give customers all the information that they need in order to buy. We know that still way too many, not even talking about like general, like all of the B2B companies that are out there, but in SaaS already, there's still a lot of companies that don't show their pricing information online. And that's the kind of stuff that prevents you from getting where you need to be. Your customers want to understand what your product or solution costs. And if they're not able to do that, there will be somebody Googling your product name and pricing. And if it's not you who's giving that information, it will be your competitors. And my guess is that if your competitors are talking about your pricing, it's not going to be favorable for you. Yeah, and then comparison data is also a comparison charts, like how you compare to different kind of alternative solutions or direct competitors. That's something that most of the companies are still missing from their website. Then obviously the other part that's making buying experiences suck is that still customers can't really experience the value. So in SaaS, obviously it means that there's no freemium versions available of the product, or there's rarely still like free trial versions available, or some kind of demo environment where you could actually play around with the product. And that's something that makes buying unnecessarily complicated. And I think that like the try before you buy movement is one of the biggest things and the biggest opportunities that every SaaS company and basically every company should introduce to their business. And even if you're not a SaaS company, let's say you're a product company selling a physical product, or you're selling productized services, you can have a level of, or some kind of, you can have a way of letting your customers understand how your product works by actually giving out the pricing structure in, let's say, a configurator, where they can actually put in the type of values or the different kind of aspects that factor in the pricing structure. So for example, if I'm selling healthcare, occupational healthcare services, I want to understand like what kind of factors affect the pricing. So it might be, let's say, your industry, it might be the number of employees, it might be the level of service you want, and it can be some additional products that come, let's say, for example, insurance, and it can be even your location. And it's much easier for me to understand what I'm buying and why should I buy from you if you're transparently giving me the information so that I actually understand what I'm buying. Nobody wants to buy stuff they don't understand. We all want to do informed decisions. So having that information is critical. And last but not least, customers are way too often forced to talk to sales, even with repeat purchases or reorders or buying simple stuff. Too many times we see that it's talk to the sales. And then once you fill out the form, it takes 2 days to get somebody actually calling you. And by that time you have moved on to next stuff and probably even purchased from another place who actually made it possible to buy from them. So I think that B2B websites and B2B sales in general need to move forward and evolve from the kind of business card world where we used to have website that we were satisfied if we had like, this is where we are, this is the geographical area where we are located, probably listed some kind of, these are our products, but it was not a real business value that anybody got from that. And still too many companies are, I call this caveman era still. We are in the place where we just put the product information out there or product catalog out there. We talk more about the features and benefits. We don't show publicly the pricing information and stuff that people actually need in order to buy. So we need to move from the caveman era to actually to the sales channel where this actual website can sell on its own. And I know that many of you are like, that's nonsense, that like my product is so complex that nobody will ever buy it and go up and do the transaction on the website. That might be true, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't let your customers to go further down the line in the buying process on their own. Obviously, that actually saves you and your sales reps more time and means that you're being more efficient. Now, I think it's time to hand over to another Mikko.
From Mikko to Mikko. Let me take it here. Just a second. Thank you, Mikko. There we go. Yes. So actually, that was a really interesting things you mentioned there, and one thing to comment on what you said, what I really liked a lot about this is how you explained that what if you have this like a complex service, because that is true. You can't always sell on your website, but there are also other ways to facilitate the sales. So that was kind of a good takeaway from there, that kind of demystifying the buying. It doesn't always have to be that somebody is actually making the purchase, but it can be many different things there, you know, along the way. And also that you know, if you don't put your prices to the web, then it's pretty difficult for anyone to buy that, and kind of don't be afraid of doing that, because you know, it's not there for your competitors, it's there for your customers.
Yeah, exactly. And I really need to wait on that, because too many times we are afraid of what competitors would do. But like myself being a former sales leader, hell, in every company that I've done sales, I really did know the prices of my competitors. Every single competitor that's out there that does their job well, they know your prices. So it's borderline crazy that you're so obsessed with your competitors that you're leaving out the person who actually needs to understand your pricing, which is the customer, out of the equation.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Do I have my sharing on? Good. Okay. Hey, how then to set up your website to support growth? Let's talk a little bit about that. And I think there are kind of two main things you have to ask from yourself. First, what is the goal of your website? And then second, what is the role of your website? And I'm going to explain this in a bit more detail. Now, the goal. You can approach the goal of the website basically from two angles, like what is the goal for the visitor and what is the goal for you? Now, ultimately for the visitor, the reason to visit your website, i.e. the goal, is to get value. So first and foremost, your website needs to provide value for your visitor. And the value from the customer's point of view, it can be example, something like we have here, like answers to questions like what problem your product can solve, how is your product different from the others out there, any like technical specifications or whatever that is of your product, pricing information, user stories, testimonials, recommendation, anything to indicate that what do the people who are actually using your service think about your service. And if someone wants to go that far, that they even want to try or buy, make that as easy as possible you can. All right, I think this makes sense to all of you. And then the goal from your point of view, Now, I mean, let's face it, your website is always an investment. So of course you want to get something in return. Now, it's really important that you are also clear, at least in your mind, with what is the business goal of your website. Now, this is of course something you don't state there as such on your website, but you need to be clear about this in order to plan the conversions there on your website. As an example, the business goal could be translated into a demo booking. It could be a contact request, someone starting a free trial. It could be even a direct purchase, content download, all these type of things. Now, this is of course based on your business, but be very clear on what is the business goal of your website. Again, I think this is pretty easy to understand. Okay, what about the role then? I think this is a bit more technical question, and it's a really interesting one actually. So I'm going to spend a bit more time in here. Now, think about the customer journey from the very first moment someone becomes aware of you to the point they convert at your website or even become customer. Now, already at this point, you needed to have something like 15 to 20 different tools in your tech stack. Okay, you have the website CMS, you have the blog tool to attract the visitors. You have all kinds of tools to convert. You have the CTA tool, the form tool. You might have some calendar applications. You might be running webinars as we do. You have the pricing calculator there, marketing automation, analytics, of course, cookie management, all that. So, and this list goes on. So these are really common stuff that everybody has. And you need to find a way for all these tools to work together to really provide seamless experience. And this is how we approach it. These are examples of how the marketing tools tech stack looks like in practice, and something that we usually map with our customers. So this is kind of the customer journey under the hood, so to say. I know it's really small, and you can't see all the details, but we have a box there called website. And you see there are all kind of tools around. And if you really want to set your website for growth, provide seamless experience, make buying easy, personalize the website experience, you need to master also this part. And this is one takeaway from me to remember. If you don't remember anything else from me than this, the advice is to get your website connected and plug it in to your CRM system or wherever your customer data is living. That's when you can use all the information you have about your customers on your website. You can personalize, you can show different CTAs, for example, to different users. You can treat your customers differently to your prospects. You can share some private content, for example. All that requires that you have this picture at place. Now, what we really see here is kind of the back end of your website. And then what you build on your website in the CMS, that's kind of the front end. And you know, there are lots of really cool tools out there. Obviously, I know HubSpot pretty well, so that's one really good option from my experience, where you can clearly master this type of approach and really use the customer data, CRM-powered websites. I think that's the point where you can really, how you can really set your website to help your business grow. All right. Okay, so we said we're going to spend like 25 minutes in the first part, and it's now 1:25. So now that we have warmed up, actually we thought about taking a small test here.
Yeah, now, so basically we talked about cavemen before. So I think this is a good segue for that.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, so if we come back to the idea of moving from the kind of business card on the internet to product brochure on the internet, and then moving to the sales channel which is obviously what we're after. And as you just saw, like plugging in your CRM with your CMS, that helps you tremendously. But it's still, that's like the technical point of view. But in order to make your website sell, you need to get the content right, and you need to build it like a sales channel. So we have created a 6-question test that you can do. It's 1 point per 1 question. If you score anything, let's say 5 and above, then you're most certainly doing quite fine. Obviously, 6 would be ideal way. So answer the questions, go through your website, think about your website for 30 seconds or whatever, and then go through one by one. Like, can you learn about the problem on your website? Can the customer learn about the solution? Or importantly, about the value that they're actually getting, not just like talking about benefits, but actual value that they get, how their business will be different kind when they have bought from you, and what they can expect to happen, let's say within 18 to 24 months or something like that. And then obviously it would be super important to learn from other successful customers. The testimonials are probably still the most underutilized thing that websites have. I think that you can never have too many testimonials. Or have you seen any website with too many testimonials? At least I haven't.
No, I haven't.
And then the 2 last points, like you need to be able to get the pricing information online, and you need to be able to buy online. So how many questions you got right? What's the score?
Yeah, put your score in the chat. Let me see what we got.
Four is pretty good. I saw 4 was there.
Yeah, 4 is good.
I'd still recommend that publishing pricing, or at least if you don't come up with exact price, I know sometimes it might be, your product might be a bit more complex. Putting that out actually is tremendously valuable in order for you get to your customers to be more educated about what you do, what are the pricing levels and so on, and actually then buy from you.
Yeah. All right. So let's leave it with the caveman test. I think this is pretty good approach. You know, you can always refer to this when you think about your website. Think about renewing something on your website. It helps you to focus, like what have you missing and all that. So I think really good and practical, simple approach to evaluate your website. And that's what we're gonna do next. So we have some time for live consultation. And like I said, thank you for all of you who provided your websites in your submission. We have just randomly taken some. Again, I said that we didn't have time to take all of them, but I think we have time for 3 or 4 maybe here. So just randomly taking the first one here and putting it there. Can you see that?
Yes, at least I can. Hopefully everybody else can too.
All right. All right. So Cloud ID.
Okay, what the company does, what's the value? What's the value that the company is providing? What is the problem that they're solving? Improve customer experiences. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a bit vague. I think that pretty much every single company claims that they are improving customer experience. Cloud ID customer engagement solution. It's the only channel customer engagement platform. So email marketing, or what is this?
Yeah. Maybe something about the value would be good to have here.
Let's scroll a bit.
Yeah.
Americans to connect with customers. Okay, this image is better.
Yeah.
As soon as you have something that's like showing the product or that's something that's related to it. It's always better.
Yeah. You could maybe
smart receipts. Okay, I understand the concept. So it has something to do with somebody selling services on and everything to the customers, and customers getting smart receipts.
Yeah.
It's like paperless, reduce waste, must be.
Reduce waste. Okay, reduce paper receipts. So it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Smart reports seems cool. How does this work?
Maybe some kind of like a animated approach. What do you think would be okay here to explain these features, or video or something like that?
Yeah, I would actually tweak the hero section because now I feel it's probably not telling the story the right way. Would probably be a bit more clear about what's the clear value, and not talking about that proud value. I understand the customer experience is what clearly is a good. Go paperless, become contactless.
Okay. Here it is.
That's pretty good.
That's the value.
Yeah. Now, obviously, there seems to be, if I'm not mistaken, I might be, since I'm not probably your target customer, but there's value for the end customer, your customer's customer, and then for the company that's your customer. And they might be a bit different. So communicating those two values might be a tricky one, but yeah. Okay. Yeah, so this saves a planet, obviously. Yeah, that's good. That's always good. You should always highlight that.
Exactly.
You're one of the good guys then.
Yeah, and maybe you could already put this in the beginning, like this is the value, go paperless, become contactless. I think that explains quite nicely.
Yeah, Claudia,
this is about.
Truly contactless transactions. I think that sums it up. Okay, this is good.
Yeah, this is good, and you seem to have some educational content there. There's a blog, that's a good one.
Let's see it. If it's, I'm okay.
Oh, okay.
But okay, anyway. That was not good. 404.
Yeah,
so there must be something wrong. Okay. Yeah.
But the pricing.
Yeah, pricing is missing, and obviously, if it's a bit more complex, I think that you can still work around with that, having some kind of configurator that helps you to build the package or the solution that would be, let's say, tailored for you. I think that would at least do the job pretty well. And if you're not feeling, how would I say, if you're not feeling too confident about putting the prices online, then at least the configurator would help customer to understand how the pricing works.
Yeah.
And if it's then just like sending out the request for quote, at least it helps buyer to complete one of the key buying tasks, which is to get the price. So I think that's a crucial part that I would probably put here. Yeah. Pricing element is always something you expect when you're dealing with companies that are offering some solution like that.
Absolutely, I agree. Maybe one also tip here. This is a contact get started form. So you could actually skip the form by putting some calendar there, so that if somebody wants to contact the salesperson, they can already schedule the time, and you don't have to do this calendar bingo, and you can just basically schedule the meetings, or let the visitor schedule the meetings right away. Okay, but pretty good. Some concrete stuff to improve.
Yeah, and also if there's let's say an application for a customer in their mobile phones, might be a good idea to highlight like the end user or customer section somewhere in the navigation to actually to have like two different paths, because obviously their messaging is going to be totally different from B2B to B2C.
Yeah, exactly. But hey, good work here. Small improvements to make it even better. Very good. Yeah. Next one. Financial management data and tools in a single place. That explains pretty nicely, don't you think?
Yeah, at least to me, that's clear.
Yeah.
When you clicked the from Finnish to English, wasn't there prices?
Oh
What
yeah,
happened?
it's actually a bit different scope. Yeah, you're
Okay.
right. We have prices.
So the
here.
sales model changes.
Yeah.
Is this also in the same way in the global website, or is this something? Okay, there we go. Does the Finnish one at least have a big table?
Yeah.
I'm confused. Okay, so we're a small company now, but I'm probably the one on the left side.
Yeah. This
Okay.
is probably a good example where you could use some kind of like a configurator.
Yeah, probably, or limit the number of packages that you show.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm guessing the table is also a bit tricky in mobile. So some kind of feature or configurator would probably explain the prices. But really good that the prices are here. And
it's transparent. That's
pretty readable. Yeah, it's transparent, it's readable, and all that. So good job there. 1 point in the Cayman test for that.
What happens if you click order? Tila Pro Counter. Order the Pro Counter.
Then
you can buy it online.
Yeah.
This is good.
I choose a product. Yes, you can do that.
Okay, this is perfect.
And there you can.
Okay. Actually, if you click back, one click back, I think this when you list the additional services and the prices associated, this is like much better way of presenting the information, the price information. So having a big gigantic pricing tables might be confusing, and it's hard to figure out what's the right package for you. So quite often like configurators, and then like offering what are the additional services. It's easier to showcase in like this way. I think this is actually pretty good.
It is, and you can complete the purchase from here.
Yeah. Okay. What about the English website? Is it still like you're not able to buy from the global website?
At least it's a bit different. You don't have these prices.
Read more. So no order now. Contact us.
Yeah, it's a bit different. Yeah. Again, here you could use depending on what type of contact this is. If it's not a meeting with somebody, then of course I think the form is okay.
Yeah.
But yes, it's a bit different model here.
Yeah. And in like many cases, I understand that there might be some differences from country to country, how the financial management is done and carried out. I totally understand that. But if you have a form, please make the form to provide more information for your sales rep to make the first contact actually valuable. If you're just asking like super open questions, it might be a bit hard for the sales rep then to be super valuable on the first call. And that's only something that frustrates the salespeople and the customer. So being able to actually give out the information that somewhat gives sales rep an understanding of what the pricing level would be, because that's obviously one of the key questions that will come up during the first discussion, whether or not you like it. Because when you're not able to get the pricing information on the global website, then obviously that's something that people will ask.
Yeah. But I think there are a lot of good things. There's some educational content here also. There's a blog, so not going there at the moment, but at least you have it there. So I think a lot of good things here.
Yeah, and there's the support stuff. Everything seems to be easily, findable, and yeah, it's clear. I think it's pretty clear.
Again, good work there. Third one. from the random list. Calenso, customizable scheduling, flexible online booking.
So Calendly, but Calenso.
Yeah, can be integrated anywhere. Yeah, good. No credit card required. That's good.
Get started. It's free. Okay, so there's a freemium version.
Yeah. Good.
Or not. Test free of charge. Okay, so is it freemium or? Right. What happens?
You need to fill your details. Okay, then it's the form.
So was it a freemium or free trial? I'm not sure.
It's a bit unclear.
German is bad. I don't understand a word. Okay.
Yeah.
But
anyway, you have that.
I seem to understand the intelligent online what
features here. Oh yeah, there you have a lot of features.
Okay, this is one of my favorites. One platform, countless features. Benefits, please. This is what you can do.
Yeah, countless benefits.
Interest aroused.
Then
okay.
I'm looking for some.
Well, there seems to be a quite lot explanation what the tool does. What's still a bit unclear to me is how is this different from Calendly? And why should I use this?
Let me see.
Okay, there it says that 14 days. So it was not a freemium. So there's not a free. Okay, all right. So it's test free of charge means that it's 14-day free trial.
Hey, this is what I was actually looking for.
Okay, this is good. Let's read what they are.
Over 100,000 people have chosen Calenso. Well, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's a lot of users.
Yeah, that is. So maybe it could also be a little bit higher.
Yeah.
I had to scroll way down to find this.
Yeah.
But there's like a really good.
Yeah.
review.
What I would love to see with this kind of when you're not on the top of the list, when you're not the biggest brand everybody knows in the category, you need to stand out. It just needs to be crystal clear how you're different. When people come to your website, the first thing that they need to understand, obviously, is what you do, but how you're different.
Yeah. I'm a bit concerned about our time. We have still 2 minutes. So, but still, you have the prices here. You have some resources. Good ones. Okay, again here, maybe some kind of configurator would be easier to read. You lost, okay, flat rate, white label, enterprise, but you lost those when you scroll down. But some kind of configurator maybe here.
Okay, this is long. This is seriously long.
This is pretty small.
Probably think about some kind of expand to see rest of the features type of
something like some kind of feature.
Only list the ones that matter.
Yeah. All right, but again, good elements. I mean,
a lot of good elements.
Pricing, all the testimonials, all the reviews, and all that. Clear call to actions. So again, really good.
Yeah. Only question is, how is this different from, let's say, Calendly or something alternative?
Yeah. Okay. Hey, really good. Thanks for sharing that. I must say that, none of the websites, including Advanced B2B website, is far from perfect. So, I think those are really good. Hopefully you get some like a practical tips to improve the conversions. Sadly, we are already almost running out of time. Let me see if we have any questions here to wrap up the webinar. I have some.
Yeah, there was a question around that, like if it's a licensed software, buying online is not an option. Should we count out of 5? I think counting out of 5 is good.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. Actually, one question, Mikko.
Yeah.
You know, we talked a lot about handling sales or assisting sales on the website, but if you think about the future, is there any other channels than the website where the buying is moving to?
Yeah. I'd say that at this point, if you focus your energy on making sure that your website and all the different forms, like how people can access, like buying from you, whether it's through your resellers and them having some kind of online sales channel that they can use to make everything easy, or your salespeople having an easy place to type in the orders, or actually your own customers having a simple, easy place where they can, do the repeat purchases. I think that's for 99% of the P2B world, that's enough. And like, if you just provide that kind of information, that will be all you need. But it truly is much more, obviously, at the end of the day, when you start thinking about it, it's like, it's a big business decision that you need to make. And, teaching your customers to buy from you online by themselves, even if it's like repeat purchase, it takes time, but it's truly worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Hey, thank you all, everybody who joined the webinar. Sorry for taking a couple of minutes extra time from you. I think we got a bit excited about the consultation. So yeah, but that's how it is. So thank you. We're going to share the recording afterwards, and please stay tuned. There's going to be a lot of webinars still coming up later in the year. So for now, thank you for joining. Thank you, Mikko, for being here with us. And
thanks for having me.
Have a great day, everybody.
Great week, everyone.